There comes a time in your life when you finally get it. When in the midst of all your fears and insanity, you stop dead in your tracks, and somewhere the voice inside your head cries out, "Enough! Enough fighting and crying or struggling to hold on." And like a child quieting down after a blind tantrum, your sobs begin to subside. You shudder once or twice, you blink back your tears, and through a mantle of wet lashes, you begin to look at the world from a new perspective. This is your awakening. You realize that it is time to stop hoping and waiting for something or someone to change, or for happiness, safety, and security to come galloping over the next horizon. You come to terms with the fact that there aren't always fairy tale endings, or beginnings for that matter, and that any guarantee of happily ever after must begin with you. Then a sense of serenity is born, of acceptance. So you begin making your way through the reality of today, rather than holding out for the promise of tomorrow. You realize that much of who you are and the way that you navigate through life is, in great part, a result of all the social conditioning you've received over the course of a lifetime. And you begin to sift through all the nonsense you were taught about. How you should look and how much you should weigh, what you should wear and where you should shop, where you should live or what type of car you should drive, who you should sleep with and how you should behave, who you should marry and why you should stay, the importance of bearing children or what you owe your family. You accept the fact that you are not perfect and that not everyone will love, appreciate, or approve of who or what you are. And that's okay. They are entitled to their own views and opinions. And you come to terms with the fact that you will never be a size 5 or a perfect 10 or a perfect human being for that matter. And you stop trying to compete with the image inside your head or agonizing over how you compare. And you take a look at yourself in the mirror and you make a promise to give yourself the same unconditional love and support you give so freely to others. Then a sense of confidence is born, of self-approval. And you begin to love and care for yourself. You stop engaging in self-destructive behaviors, including participating in dysfunctional relationships. You begin eating a balanced diet, drinking more water, and exercising. And because you've learned that fatigue drains the spirit and creates doubt and fear, you give yourself permission to rest. And just as food is fuel for the body, laughter is fuel for the spirit. And so you make it a point to create time for play. Then you learn about love and relationships, how to love, how much to give in love, when to stop giving, and when to walk away. And you allow only the hands of a lover who truly loves and respects you to glorify you with his touch. And you learn to keep your ego in check and to acknowledge and redirect the destructive emotions it spawns. You learn how to say, "I was wrong." You learn to build bridges instead of walls, and about the healing power of love as it is expressed through a kind of word, a warm smile, or a friendly gesture. And at the same time, you eliminate any relationships that are hurtful or fail to uplift and edify you. You stop working so hard at smoothing things over and setting your needs aside. You learn that feelings of entitlement are perfectly okay and that is your right to want or expect certain things. And you learn the importance of communicating your needs and confidence and grace. Then you learn to distinguish between guilt and responsibility and the importance of setting boundaries and learning to say no. You learn that you don't know all the answers. It's not your job to save the world, and that sometimes you just need to let go. Moving along, you begin to avoid toxic people and conversations, and you stop wasting time and energy rehashing your situation with family and friends. You learn that talk doesn't change things, and that unrequited wishes can only serve to keep you trapped in the past. So you stop laminating over what could or should have been, and you make a decision to leave the past behind. Then you begin to invest your time and energy to effect positive change. You take a personal inventory of all your strengths and weaknesses and the areas you need to improve in order to move ahead. And you set your goals and map out a plan of action to see things through. And you stop looking for guarantees because you've learned that the only thing you can really count on is the unexpected, and that whatever happens, you'll learn to deal with it. And you learn that the only thing you must truly fear is the great robber baron of all, fear itself. So, you learn to step right into and through your fears, because to give into fear is to give away the right to live your life on your terms. You learn that much of life is truly self-fulfilling prophecy, and you learn to go after what you want and not to squander over life, living under a cloud of indecision or feelings of impending doom. Then you hang a wind chime outside your window to remind yourself what beauty there is in simplicity. Finally, with courage in your heart and God by your side, you take a stand. You take a deep breath and you begin to design the life you want to live as best as you can. A word about the power of prayer. In some of my darkest, most painful and frightening hours, I have prayed, not for the answers to my prayers or the material things, but for my God, to help me find the strength, confidence, and courage to persevere, to face each day and to do what I must do. Remember this. You are an expression of the Almighty. The Spirit of God resides within you and moves through you. Open your heart, speak to that Spirit, and it will heal and empower you. My God has never failed me.